Hello and welcome to Sports Weekend on i24 News. Live from the Jaffa Port, I'm Mirav Savir. On our show today, we'll talk about the life and legacy of Portuguese footballer Eusébio, the huge upset in the FA, an Israeli basketball team that is owned by its #1 fans, literally, and the NBA team with the longest winning streak may surprise you. Stay tuned to find out who it is. Joining me for the show today are i24 News sports analysts Yoav Borovich and Danny Swibel, and our Twitter extraordinaire Michal Divon. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
And we begin our show today with the passing of a legend. Portuguese football great Eusébio died this morning from cardiac arrest. He was 71. Eusébio, nicknamed the Black Panther, is credited as Black Africa's first international football superstar. Over his career, he won 64 caps and was Portugal's biggest star. Eusébio is considered a legend in the sport. What is his significance to football?
He's a true pioneer in the world of sports and soccer because he came to Portugal in 1960 and he blazed the trail for so many African players, so many black players. When he came, he was the only one. It was totally white-dominated football scene in Europe, and he came and he became the best very fast. You know, he led Portugal to the semifinals of the World Cup. He won the European Championship. He won 9 championships in Portugal. He scored 479 goals. He became one of the best footballers in the world and, you know, a great, great character outside of the pitch as well.
And you already said it, one of the great footballers in the world. Where would you rank him among the world's best?
Eusébio is an all-time legend. He's up there with Pele, Maradona, Di Stefano, Georgie Best, Johan Cruyff. He's really one of the top 5-10 footballers of all time.
And obviously, we also have Portuguese Cristiano Ronaldo. How do the two compare to one another? Biggest names to come out of Portugal.
Yeah, very interesting. You know, many decades after Eusébio, Cristiano Ronaldo burst into the scene. He's probably now the best footballer in the world. But still, you know, he has few great seasons. But Eusébio excelled for over 15 years, almost 20 years. Ronaldo, if he will be on this pace, he will considered in the history books to be as great as Eusébio, but he's still not there.
And if Eusébio were to have today's medics, today's gear, would he be that much better, or was he just that great all around?
He was great. Yeah, he would have been great, even maybe even greater today, because we need to realize, first of all, he was an amazing athlete. At 16, he ran 100 meters in 11 seconds. We're talking a world-class sprinter. He was a great technician, great footballer, great character, a leader, a winner, unbelievable player, and that's why the whole world is mourning today.
Yoav, thank you very much. And joining us from the Twitter sphere is Michal Divon. Michal, what is the Twitter world saying about Eusébio?
Well, there's an unbelievable amount of tweets coming out. Let's go right to our first one. First one says, when Messi or Ronaldo dies, probably in 2065, 50 or 60 years after, today's youth will feel the same. What I felt for Eusébio today, I'm crying. You know, it's incredible to see how the reactions are not only on a professional level, they're really on a personal level. Even people who didn't know him are acting like they lost someone of their own.
Impact on the world, not just the sport itself.
He had such an impact because him as an athlete and being a black athlete, he really broke the glass ceiling, and his personal achievement is really a collective one.
And we spoke about Cristiano Ronaldo. He also had something to say on Twitter.
He did have something to say. Let's go right to it. Cristiano Ronaldo. He says, it's a sad day today. A great person and one of the greatest players of all time has passed away. Rest in peace, Eusébio. Now, before he says he's a great player, he's saying this is a great person. And, you know, it's really interesting how everyone's making this comparison. It's almost unavoidable. And in a way, Ronaldo is his heir. People are seeing him as the person to walk his footsteps. So these are two great players. They're both icons. And, you know, as you saw in the picture, they clearly had a connection themselves.
Well, Michal Divon, thank you, and stay with us because we'll be coming right back to you.
Absolutely.
An exciting weekend in the tennis world, and we'll start it with Rafael Nadal. The world #1 started the year on the right foot, beating Gael Monfils in the Qatar Open final in 3 sets, his first title win in Doha and 61st of his career. And moving down under to Australia to the Brisbane International final between 2 former world #1s, Leighton Hewitt and Roger Federer. Hewitt and Federer split the first 2 sets, and Hewitt wouldn't let the home crowd down, winning the 3rd set 6-3, completing his first title win since 2010. The opponent then, Roger Federer. And now to the women's final in Brisbane. Only two opponents who know each other very well, Serena Williams and Victoria Azarenka. The two split their victories when meeting in 4 tournament finals last year. In 2014 started with an edge for Williams, clinching her first title of the year, beating Azarenka in the finals, straight sets 6-4 and 7-5. And we're moving back to football news. This weekend in England was the third round of the FA Cup, the first round in which Premier League teams are included. The biggest game was the North London derby between Arsenal and Tottenham. But the upset of the round was definitely Manchester United's home loss to Swansea 2-1. Yoav, what does this tell us about David Moyes' team this year?
That they're struggling big time. You know, we knew it because they started this season very bad. They improved a bit, but again and lately they've been losing again. They're 11 points behind in the league, and Manchester United losing at home twice in the same week. Once to Tottenham, second time to Swansea, 2-1. We see it here. A team from Wales, huge underdogs. It's just, you know, the Manchester United, there's the New York Yankees of world football. David Moyes replaced the legendary Alex Ferguson. They're supposed to win there, win big, and win all the time. And the fact that they're struggling so significantly, you know, we can ask if whether David Moyes will stay there next season, because it doesn't look like a sure thing now.
And going back to the North London derby, not really what we were expecting at all. Obviously, Arsenal came in and won 2-0 against the Spurs. What happened?
Yeah, it's quite amazing because Arsenal played with not even one striker, just midfielders and defenders against Tottenham, and they totally dominated the pitch. Tottenham were just not there. They're very soft, and historically, it's a soft club. They never seem to materialize their talent, and Arsenal just came and dominated, played best, and played like the #1 seed in the Premier League, which they are.
And very quickly, what should we expect from Arsenal going forth?
I think it's going to be very interesting because this team, as I said, they lack strikers. Yesterday they didn't even play with one, but they have Olivier Giroud, the Frenchman, who's having a good season, but it's not enough to have only one striker. You need more, and you need more defensive midfielders, because also Arsenal, compared to Tottenham, they're maybe not so soft, but also compared to Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, they're a softer team, very technical. But when you play the big clubs, when you play in the winter time, when you play in the crunch time, it's the question whether Arsenal will be tough enough to win the championship.
Yoav Borovic, thank you very much. And now it's time for our sports news in brief. Formula One legend Michael Schumacher remains in a medically induced coma a week after his skiing accident. Over the weekend, a witness handed over video of the accident to the police. The video shows Schumacher hitting a rock and being propelled into another rock. Schumacher's family voluntarily handed over the camera from his helmet for examination as well. And American teenager Michaela Schifrin won her second World Cup slalom of the season on Sunday. The 18-year-old battled through snow and rain and deep ruts, showing she can handle any type of weather ahead of next month's Winter Olympics in Sochi. And later tonight, the NFL playoffs. The Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers will square off in an actually frozen tundra. Temperatures during the game are expected to be negative 18 degrees Celsius with icy winds. Players will wear special gear to help with the cold, and medical personnel will be on hand to help with any cold-related health problems. And Michal, that brings us right back to you. Everybody's getting ready and they're tweeting about it.
They are, and they're very funny tweets, let me say. Let's go to them. First one is, if I had to play in the Green Bay game, I'd take whatever possible fine that came with not playing today. Well, Green Bay weather, do you postpone a game for this?
You never postpone a game for this. And people in Green Bay arguably are ready for this, but I'm with that person.
There's been worse weather than this. I mean, the Ice Bowl, we might not remember it. It was in '67, but there have been worse. And you know what? Our Canadian friends, they have to suffer this kind of winter every year, so I'm sure they don't have any compassion.
So all the Canadian fans should cross the border and be right in Lambeau for the game.
Exactly. For them, this is warm weather.
And what else?
We have another one. Would you believe that it's so cold in Green Bay that stadium staff is putting heaters on the beer machines? Go 49ers. Initially, I thought this was a joke, but it's not. The beer is freezing, and so you have to keep your liquids liquid. Now think, if this is what's happening to the beer, what's happening to the players? Not only do they have to, perform, they have to beat the other team. I wish them both.
And people have to
Good
sit
luck.
there and watch it.
Absolutely.
Michal Divon, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're moving on to our weekly report. Have you ever heard of a team completely owned by its fan? Well, this phenomenon is happening right here in Tel Aviv. Yoav Borovich reports.
They look like all other basketball fans. Slightly more rabid and passionate maybe, but basically just like any other fan base. But looks might deceive. Because those are not just regular basketball fans. They are in fact, but they also own a team. Each and every one of them is a part owner of a Hapoel Tel Aviv basketball team that is currently on top of the Israeli Premier League.
We took the idea from Barcelona. Barcelona is also a fans team. They have 100,000 fans that collaborate and made the team. We have 2,000.
My whole family are here. My son, my daughter, my wife. And this is just fun. It's so much fun to come here.
Hapoel Tel Aviv was founded in 1935, but 10 years ago the team actually folded after many years of mismanagement and incurring large debts. After tearing down Usishkin, Hapoel Old's legendary arena, the fans decided to build a new team from scratch, this time not under a private ownership, but rather under their communal leadership and management.
We are very special in the decision-making process. The fans can influence about the team, about the management, about everything that happened the day-to-day life.
It takes a very, very strong team and a very strong crowd to do this kind of project, to make it happen.
In Israel, it never happened, and this is the first team that was built by its fans. They started from the last league, 5th division, and went up almost every year.
This year, with one of the lowest budgets in the Premier League, Hapoel managed already to win 8 games and to be on top of the league. In Israeli basketball, there is an eternal champion, Maccabi Tel Aviv, with 30 championships in the last 44 years. Hapoel doesn't have the funds to compete with Maccabi, who they beat this year, but they sure have the passion and the fans.
Everybody will say that we don't want to take the championship, we'll be lying. But the way to the championship matters more than just winning the championship.
Even the 2 American stars of the team, Carlon Brown and Justin Harper, love this concept.
It's a first-time experience playing for a team that's owned by the fans, and it just makes it that much more exciting for the games, and you want to go out there and give it your all 100%.
We have the best fans, the best crowd in Israel by far. They come out and support us on the road. They're here every home game, yelling, screaming with all their might, and it brings a lot of energy and a lot of passion, a lot of focus for us, and gives us that clear advantage here on our home floor.
A team owned by its fans proved to be a success in Israeli basketball and Spanish football. Now the question is whether the rest of the world of sports will follow.
And the hottest team in the NBA right now may surprise you. It's not the LeBron-led Heat or the Durant-led Thunder. It's the Golden State Warriors, who are on an 8-game winning streak. Danny Swibel, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And Danny, how has this team all of a sudden bounced to the forefront?
It is incredible. Coach Mark Jackson said that this team can be great, and he just might be onto something. They are about to maybe break a streak that has been going on for 38 years. This is the longest winning streak for them. It's amazing. I mean, with the recent acquisition of Iguodala, he's considered one of the best defenders in the league. Huge off-signing. He's maybe the X factor or new Pippen, perhaps.
And of course, they have one of the best shooters in the league, and
Stephen Curry. It's amazing. Curry is amazing. Everything he does, it's just like magic. He's so swift and fast and smooth. I mean, we have David Lee, the irreplaceable piece of the puzzle. Almost 20 points per game, 10 rebounds. Every game is a double-double with these guys.
And they just keep on going. And they actually had, during this 8-game streak, it's not just, a team here, team there. They had a very big victory.
They beat the Heat. As you know, that's one of my favorite mottos, beat the Heat. So they beat the Heat 123 to 114. 15 threes they had in the game.
Woo!
Stephen Curry had 8 of them himself. It was magical. I was so happy. I was in love with that team.
And we're actually going to stay in California. Clippers Chris Paul out 3 to 5 weeks. What does this mean?
That's a really tough one. 3 to 5 weeks is a positive estimate. There's a chance he could need surgery, which would require perhaps more than a few weeks, maybe months perhaps. So that's a very serious thing. Listen, this team is going to go to playoffs. But it's not just about going to the playoffs with these guys. They want to actually do something this year. They want to go to the distance. But they have a bunch of teams right on their tails and that are trying to take the division spots.
And how are the Clippers going to do without him? Obviously, he's a huge part of this team. Can they be successful? We're talking playoffs, which are so far away. But right now, what do they need to make up for this?
The thing is, they're already struggling at times on defense, so they are going to be missing one of those key pieces. And again, teams like the Rockets and all these other really great West Coast teams are right on their tails, and they're chipping away. And without Clippers having home court advantage, they're not going to get very far in playoffs. So they really hope that 3 to 5 weeks is what the case is going to be, and it's not going to be any longer than that with that shoulder.
Because the West is absolutely incredible this year and really what to watch in the NBA. Danny Swiball, thank you very much. And that's all for us today. For the latest sports news, you can find us online, i24news.tv, Facebook or Twitter, and you can tweet at us at i24News Sports. We'd love to hear from you. For all of us here on Sports Weekend, I'm Mirav Savir. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you right back here next Sunday.